In a quiet lake, the waters of which sparkled in the sun, the swans took shelter. The lake was surrounded by dense trees, a safe place for their young and eggs. However, over time, otters began to appear in the area, taking advantage of the quietness of the place and the abundance of eggs, becoming a source of danger to the swans and their young. One evening, while the swans were gathering near the banks of the lake, one of them spoke in a voice full of anger and sadness. "What is happening here is very insulting. How dare the foxes eat our young? We have reached a stage where we must settle this matter." All the swans were angry, but they knew that the otters were cunning and quick and could not be confronted with force alone. After a few moments of thought, a wise swan, with pure white feathers and eyes that shone with cunning, suggested, "We must use cunning and intelligence, not just strength. If we try to fight the foxes directly, we will lose a lot, but we can lure them into a trap of our own making." The swans liked the idea, and the wise woman began to explain her plan. The plan was based on understanding the behavior of the otters and their greedy nature. The wise woman said, "Foxes search for food easily and do not like to tire themselves out. We will use this nature to our advantage." The next day, the swans began to implement the plan. They left some small eggs near the banks of the lake, in places exposed to the foxes, but at the same time, they placed carefully camouflaged traps next to those eggs. These traps were narrow places between rocks or branches, which looked like a natural hideout, but in reality, they were a trap that the foxes could not get out of once they entered. At first, the otters were hesitant to approach, but soon noticed that the eggs were readily available and easy to obtain. Their greed made them throw caution to the wind. The foxes began to rush to the eggs, but no sooner did they get close and get trapped in the traps. The tighter the traps became, the more they tried to break free. Over the next few days, many more foxes fell into the traps, and their numbers began to decrease significantly. The swans, however, watched from afar, content to carry out their clever plan without having to confront them directly. Over time, the remaining otters realized that the lake was no longer a safe place for them. They no longer saw the swan eggs as an easy target, but rather a threat to their existence. The otters decided to leave and look for other food sources away from the lake. Eventually, the lake was calm and peaceful again. The swans swam freely, reassured about their eggs and young. The swans gathered around the wise woman again, their hearts filled with gratitude. She had shown them that cunning and deceit are sometimes the strongest weapons against enemies.